May praise be to Allah who owns it, and peace and mercy be upon His Prophet and those who followed him among His companions and their successors. Dear audience, every Muslim not only knows but also firmly believes that a man's success and prosperity in this world and his elevation and salvation in the hereafter lie only in obedience of Allah and His Messenger, and abstinence from sins and revolting against Satan. This belief is no doubt accurate and fully established by the sacred text. Every Muslim should therefore obey Allah and His Messenger and keep away from committing sins and acts of disobedience. Dear listeners, 4 types of men in terms of obedience and sinning. But when we analyze people's conditions, we learn that they in terms of obedience and sinning can be categorized into 4 types. Number 1, people who on one hand act righteously, pray salah, keep fast and hugely care for nawafil, azkar, recitation of the glorious Quran, meditation and so on. On the other hand, they also remain careful not to indulge in sinful acts. Such individuals are the best and the most beloved in the eyes of Allah and His Messenger. Number 2, people who neither do righteous deeds nor do they abstain from sinful acts. They are the worst of people and the most disliked by Allah and His Messenger. They are indeed the most unfortunate people. Number 3, people who fully care for the acts of obedience, remain mindful of prayers, fasting, hajj, umrah, zikr and recitation of the Holy Quran, yet they don't abstain from sinning, but along with the acts of obedience, they also commit sins, following to the footsteps of the Satan and the baser self. Number 4, people who don't care much about performing supererogatory acts of worship. They don't remain mindful of zikr, recitation of the Holy Quran and offering nawafil much. For example, they only care for the compulsory acts of worship, but they remain much careful and abstain from sins. Dear intellectuals, of the latter two, the first type of individuals always remains mindful of the acts of obedience but careless of avoiding the sinful acts. Contrary to them, the second category of people stays careful and doesn't commit sins but shows negligence in performing the acts of worship and obedience. However, the noteworthy point is that involvement in the evil acts is far more dangerous than showing negligence in the acts of obedience. Therefore, a person should, apart from observing the acts of obedience, always take care not to indulge in sinful acts. Here I conclude my speech. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.